Okay, welcome back. So in this lesson, I want us to update our get all method so that we can finally be able to perform filtering. So what do I mean by that? Well, it means that if I do something like this with no query parameters, I should get back all the schools. If I specify the name, I should only get back um, schools named Avocado House. Uh, if I have level is high school, I should only get back schools that are high school. If I have mode face to face, I should only get back schools that have face to face. All right. And of course, if I do something like name Love House and level preschool, then I should get back only this school with this name and this level. And what I did, I intentionally created two schools with the same name, but I changed their level. Okay, and that's a great way for us to see if our method actually is correct, or implementation, that is. All right, so with this test data set, let's go back to our get all method, and we will now use the name, the level, and the mode parameters. So all we need to do is to update our query, and then when we call our query context, we pass in those parameters. So let me pass them in right now. Name, level, and mode. But remember, we're passing in mode, which is a slice, and so we need to say pq.array mode. Right? Otherwise, it won't work. Okay, so let's go back to our query, and currently we have select ID, name, level, contact, and so on. Let me bring this here just to make it more readable. Okay. All right, so I want all the fields from schools, and this is where I will now do my my filtering. Okay, so we're going to leave it as order by ID. Later on, we'll be able to change this to whatever sort field we want. For now, it will be by ID. So what I want is to be able to accept the filters, and I want to also have the possibility to make the query still be correct even if the filter is missing. So for example, if I do not include a name, my query should still work. If I do not include a level, my query should still work. If I don't include a mode, my query should still work. And also, if I do include any of them, my query should still work and perform the filter. So how do I do that? Well, there's a common pattern, and let's look at it. So I'm going to say where, right? And let's just change this to lowercase. I will say where lower name. Okay, so before we compare, we're going to make sure that name is in lowercase, where lower name is lower. Remember, we want to compare lowercase, $1. So $1, of course, is name, $1, $2, $3. Okay, so where lower name is the same as lower $1. So for example, if $1 happens to be XYZ, then in essence we're saying where name is XYZ, right? The string XYZ. Now, what happens if we do not want to filter by name? Right? Well, then nothing will be for name. Nothing will be there for name except the empty string. So if you recall, when we had our handler, we specifically stated that where is it? Here, right? Default is the empty string. Default for level is the empty string, and default for mode is just the empty slice. So this is important because we can use this. And so what we can do is to say where this is true or $1, which is name, right, is the empty string. Now, you might be asking, well, what is this really doing? All it's saying is, this is really saying that name is optional. Okay, that's what it's saying. So how this works, and let me just give you a kind of an example. Let's say I have, I want to get all IDs. So I could say select ID from schools. Okay. But I could also do this. Select ID from schools where 1 is 1. And I get back the same number of rows. So why is that the case? Well, it turns out that when something is equal to something, that is always true, right? And so in essence, the Postgres will simply ignore this where clause, right? Because it's always true. And so in essence, it's basically as if you had written select ID from schools. So that's the idea. And of course, we could do the same thing. We could say select ID from schools where the empty string is the empty string, which is always true. Okay? All right, so keep that in mind. So what I'm going to do, if the client sends name in the query string parameter, then we're going to use that in our query. Or if it's missing, right, which is the empty string, then empty string is always equals to empty string, which is true, which really means that this will be ignored, right? And that's why I say it's optional. If name is present, we're going to use name. But if name is not present, then we will default to this or, right? So or this, and since this will always be true, we skip this portion. Okay. Now, this is also important because if I skip, for example, name, then I am now able to do something like this. I am able to now say and. Okay. And so let's do the next one. Let's say lower level is lower $2. Right? Let's put that here. Or $2 is the empty string. Okay, again, I have now made level optional. And so if you think about it, if name is not provided, then I am saying select all of this from school. Normally, you can have a and without a where. But remember, the SQL engine will evaluate this and it will say, oh, okay, this is true. Okay, from schools where true. Notice where true, and so now we can say and. Okay, so where true and it will go ahead and evaluate this. Either level is provided and we use that, or level is not provided, and so this also becomes true. Right, from schools where true and true, and of course I could now check for mode. Right, so this is just a pattern that people follow when they want to do filtering. Mode contains $3. Okay, so mode contains what was passed in, right? Or the mode was not passed in, right? So it's empty curly brace, the empty slice. Okay, so again, by using the or and or, I am making all the filter parameters optional. Alright, so if none of them are provided, then all I'm saying is select this from this, order by ID. For example, if I want to provide the mode, then all I'm saying is select all of this from schools where true and whatever the mode is. So again, the key is we are making the filters optional. And so this is just a pattern that we use, and it's something that you have to become familiar with. And of course, notice it's easily extendable. So if you have another field that you want to filter by, you could just simply say and whatever the field is, or $for empty string, or whatever the default is. Okay, so that's all we need to do. We already made the change here. Okay, so let's save this. Let's start our terminal. Nope. Go run /API. Okay, so let's test out some of this data, some of these filters. So no filter. Oops. Paste. No filter. All right, so it gives me everything. Great. So notice everything has been turned off. Let's say we want avocado house. If I recall, there's only one avocado house, so I should only get back one. Okay, great. Let's look at high school. Oh, there's a bunch of high schools, right? There's a bunch of schools that have level as high school, so I should get back more than one. All right, great. I did get back more than one. Okay. All right, I got back about quite a few. Let's move on and let's see which schools have face to face as the mode. All right. Oops, I'm missing the L. The C, sorry. Okay, so we got face to face. All right, face to face. Face to face. Okay. Let's keep going. So here I have give me the school that is named Love House. I have two schools named Love House. One is high school and one is preschool. So I want the one that is preschool. Okay, and so I get back the one that is preschool. Okay, if I want the one that is high school, and I will just say high school. Okay. All right. So notice this one is 100, this one is 86. They have the same name, except the level is preschool here, and the level is high school here. And of course, this one is on 8 Love Street, and this one is on 38 Apple Street. Okay, so everything seems to be working. And so with that, let me do a quick commit. So git add git commit added filtering to via query parameters. All right, great. Let's just push. Great. And that's it. I will see you in the next lesson where we will continue to extend our filtering to be able to search. So I'll see you in those upcoming lessons.